What is up everyone? Welcome back to another video. This time I'm going to be tuning the MP5K from Cyma. For this build I'm going to be using the SHS Piston that has like holes in it. It's lighter, full metal teeth. There's like 15 I think, this one's shorter. 13:1 gears from SHS. Cylinder head also from SHS. 2 O-rings, flat surface SHS piston head. For the inner barrel I will be using this Maple Leaf 229mm inner barrel. I think it's a 6.03, and of course I will also be changing the hop-up rubber. This is a Maple Leaf macaron, 75 degrees. So let's start with something a little bit more simple. Let's start with the top part by changing the inner barrel and the hop-up rubber. Let's get into it. To disassemble the MP5 you can check out my video over here. I think it'll pop up. Let's go and take out the inner barrel just like that. Pops right out. Now the original inner barrel is 110mm long, so this 229mm barrel would look like this. You're gonna need some sort of silencer or something to go here to hide that extra length. Next, we just pull out the inner barrel with the hop-up rubber. Don't worry if the hop-up rubber breaks or anything, we're changing it anyways. All right, let's open up our new inner barrel. Before installing your inner barrel, be sure to clean it with isopropyl alcohol. I don't know if I said that right.
Isopropyl.
Just take a cleaning rod. If you have a cleaning rod, use the cleaning rod. If you don't have a cleaning rod, definitely do not use anything metallic such as the AK cleaning rod to clean out the inner barrel. This will damage it. Alright, before installing the inner barrel, we have to install the pop-up rubber. Make sure it's clean, nothing dirty in there, and before installing it, just apply a little bit, just a tiny bit of this lube and a little bit, or whatever the hell's left on your fingers, onto the inner barrel. Just a little bit. Once that's done, make sure this little line over here goes into this groove on the inner barrel, and it should slide in perfectly. And you have just installed the hop-up rubber on the inner barrel. Now all we have to do is install the barrel and rubber into the hop-up chamber. Now just pop in the C-clip and you're done. The inner barrel and the hop-up chamber and the hop-up rubber are now assembled. There's just one thing missing, and that is the nub. Alright, took me a little longer than expected, but I got the nub inside. Now we have to install the arm, which is pretty simple. All you have to do is kind of push it in like this, and another screw in the back. Once you've reassembled your hop-up chamber, look down the barrel and push the arm up and down and see if there is, as you can see, the nub is pushing down on the rubber. Make sure that that is flawless, seamless, whatever you want to call it. Make sure it works. That's what I'm trying to say. And that is the inner barrel, hop-up and hop-up chamber. Let's move on to the gearbox. Now this is where it can get a little bit more complicated. So if you're not confident in your skills or are just afraid of breaking something or whatever, I strongly advise you to take your whole gun or your gearbox or whatever to a proper technician, someone who can do it for you. So you might be asking, where is the motor? What motor will I be using? Well, the motor I will be using is the original Cyma motor from this gun. There is nothing wrong with this motor. It's enough for this build. This motor is good enough for the 120 spring, and I will be using it until it breaks or whatever. All right, let's get into the gearbox. Before installing these gears, remember to brush them with some isopropyl alcohol. They have a film on them, some sort of grease on them. So we're just gonna have to wash this all off. Make sure the gears are clean. And before installing the gears, make sure your gearbox is washed with some isopropyl alcohol. Now I'm going to use my old magic trick again and just disassemble the gearbox like. Now I'm going to remove the gears, cylinder group, nozzle and tappet plate, and finally the trigger group. Some of you might have figured out by now that the nozzle looks a little different, and yes, this is a nozzle from SHS. I already changed one. The original plastic nozzle broke. So if you're planning on changing the nozzle, just get a good metallic nozzle. Plastic ones tend to break for some reason. All right, so now that you have cleaned your gearbox shell and your new gears with isopropyl alcohol, it is time to do shimming. I'm not going to go into how to do the shimming in this video because I am definitely not professional enough to make a video about this. There are a ton of shimming guides on YouTube at the moment. So just go watch a shimming guide on YouTube. All right, so when you're gonna shim, you're gonna have to start with the motor height, and to adjust the motor height, you can use this screw in the middle. So for me, what works best is put the motor inside of the pistol grip, and the gearbox only use one part of the shell, and then I put the bevel gear inside. It's actually not really easy to see, but you can see there's one gear at the bottom, but this is just to get a rough idea so I can move on with the shimming of the bevel gear and then the other gears. All right, so I'm done with the shimming. Let's get into the second part, and that will be the piston and cylinder group. This is the original cylinder from this gearbox. So here we have the piston head, piston. You might get a piston with a bearing. It's all pretty simple. You just take your piston head and pop it inside of the piston, like so, and then you take your bearing, drop it in there. Just make sure this little groove thing aligns like so, and then you take your little plug or the tail and the screw, tighten up the screw. There you have it, the piston is complete. All right, now let's go to the cylinder and the cylinder head. I applied a little bit of silicone lube onto the O-rings and inside of the cylinder, as you can see. Do not apply too much, just a little bit. And to install the cylinder head, all we have to do is kind of push it in. Another way you can do it is by dropping it in the back and pushing it out to the front. You can use the piston to help push it out. A completed cylinder group should look something like this. All right, everything is now in place. The trigger unit, gears are shimmed and greased. Anti-reverse latch, do not forget about the anti-reverse latch. Piston and cylinder group, nozzle, tablet plate, everything is in place. All we have to do now is close up the gearbox and test it. All right, so now that the gearbox is assembled, let's put it back inside of the body. Okay, now that I have put the gearbox inside the lower piece of the body, I'm going to put this away for a second and talk about the upper half. Now that the inner barrel is much longer than the original inner barrel, there comes a problem. I can't fit this through. As you may have noticed, there is a grub screw over here, and what we have to do is unscrew this grub screw, don't lose it, and then take an Allen key or whatever the hell this thing is called, I don't know what it's called, and then put it inside of the front over here. This is essentially just a very big screw. Inside there are threads, and I also have this thread adapter that goes into the front, where I will be installing this silencer or suppressor or whatever from Cyma. And just like that, with the silencer on, the inner barrel is slightly offset to the left, as you can see, but that's not too much of a problem. Before screwing on the silencer or the suppressor completely, remember to tighten this screw. Just like that, the top part is basically complete. I have assembled the MP5K. New 13:1 gears. Same old motor, same old cylinder, same old spring, but a different nozzle, different cylinder head, different piston head, and a different inner barrel. As you can see, it looks pretty okay with this suppressor. I have recently acquired a chronograph, so yeah, let's go test it out. Alright, so got about 65, probably the lowest, and 90 something, so almost close to 100. As long as it's 120 ms and lower, I can use it in buildings, on the field, anywhere I want. Alright, so that's gonna be almost all for the video. As you can see, I did end up installing the M-LOK front handguard, which looks pretty cool, but it's very expensive for just a piece of aluminium metal or whatever this is made out of. And I also bought a M-LOK grip over here. It's about the same length as the original MP5K handguard and grip, but I just thought it looks a bit more cooler than the original plastic stuff. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you everyone for watching, and be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Maybe leave an idea in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video.